Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson. I am your host, Dr. Jefferson, and I am back 120%. Okay, you guys, like 120, 150% back. Okay. I want to say like fully myself and healed, vibrant, superb energy on like a million gazillion. Today we're gonna talk about motivation on a Monday because it's Monday, so that only makes sense, right? Hopefully, you guys are out there having a magnificent Monday. Please be reminded that Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson is a platform where we discuss very challenging and sometimes difficult, engaging the things that we find difficult and engaging in as far as conversations in the Black, brown, and melanated community. So we talk about issues that affect us all, and I want to offer viable solutions to some of these issues, but sometimes there are none. Right? We just have to live, and we have to let the natural consequence of life be our teachers. And as a result of us learning from those things, we mature into different spaces. So we embrace the moments that life gives us and accept the fact that nothing in life comes without an equal and opposite reaction or response to that thing, whatever it is. We're all systemically connected. So there is a video response of Ricky Smiley. And I talked about this on a previous show. I don't know if it was on somebody else's show last night or previously on one of my shows here recently. But I talked about the way that Black and brown people, how we use comedy as a means to cope with the very difficult things that we go through, our distress, our trauma, all of these things, the negative experiences that we have. We use comedy to mask the pain. And whatever distraction you use, keep doing it if it's working for you. Okay. Historically, we've seen that comedy is something that helps us. Being able to laugh through the pain is something that is definitely helpful for us. But I also find motivation, words of affirmation and confirmation internally is something that can help us evolve out of states of feeling hopeless, right? So today we're going to talk a bit about SheCarrie's loss and her return to the Olympics after her 30-day suspension. The video response from Ricky Smiley was very interesting. He wants to use comedy, and there are some things that I always tell people whenever we're trying to invalidate an argument. If we want to argue an argument, we need to talk about what's flawed about the argument in and of itself. So when you feel like you have to go to the extremes of putting someone else down in order to make your argument valid, it loses validity. You kind of lose me there. So I think that Ricky Smiley did a good job in trying to bring things full circle and, the relatability context, right? If SheCarrie loses, then that's a loss for us all. If she's in last place, then we're all in last place as it relates to Black and brown people supporting this young lady. However, accountability is something that Black women for the longest have gone without having guide our actions, right, in our patterns of behavior in our community. And I think that's something that we always forget to mention. So I think SheCarrie realized, not now in this moment, but previously when she first accepted her 30-day suspension, I think she realized that she had screwed up, right? And this was her way of, taking the penalty for making a decision that wasn't conducive of her overall gain. And that was running in the Tokyo Olympics. Okay. So she wasn't able to compete there. And we see her come back, and she finishes last in a race of 9 women, right? Let me pull up this. This article is from ESPN. I'm going to try and share it with you here to make it easy for us to follow together. Oh, if you guys are listening to my Whitney in the background, I just got my favorite Whitney Houston song. I want to dance. Dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. That's it does something for you, okay? All right. So here we are. Okay. So here's the article we're going to review. We're going to talk. Basically says sprinter SheCarrie Richardson finishes last in a 100-meter race in return from the substance ban. So, sprinter SheCarrie Richardson returns to the track after not being allowed to compete at the Tokyo Olympics. Did not go as she had hoped, but she stressed that she's not done. And this is the thing that I want to kind of push for you guys today. Let SheCarrie be a source of empowerment. I find it interesting that so many people want to remove this woman and belittle her. And I find her still struggling as well in her response, okay? Um, I feel like she's constantly on the defense, and you don't have to be on the defense if you really feel like you're removed from failure. Please understand, in order for anyone to win something, someone has to be a loser. Someone has to take that failure. Oftentimes, in order for us in life to understand what it truly means to win, we have to have several failures, because those failures are our first attempts in learning a new thing. Maybe it's one level we learn here when we fail, and then on the next failure, we learn a new thing. And then we start to apply the knowledge that we've gained over the experiences of failures to our future encounters, right? So SheCarrie is just 30 days removed from all of this, not to mention all of the stress and recalibration that she's having to go through with the loss, and regrets come with loss, and with the height of COVID-19 and all of that additional distress that it causes people to go through right now. I feel like we have to learn how to be permissive and understanding, and we have to put ourselves in her shoes, right? Now, I have a hard time putting myself in her shoes for the simple fact that I don't believe in using illicit substances to mask my pain. However, I do understand that this is a very normative thing for people to do these days. I mean, shit, everybody's smoking weed pretty much everywhere where it's legal and where it's illegal. So we have to accept the realities around that construct right there. And not that we're saying it's okay, we're just normalizing that this is something that happens. And moreover, we're normalizing that it's a mistake often made by young people going through heavy distress. So as she's returning, she's got the weight of that whole expectation to succeed on her. Plus the fact that these are folks that have competed in the Olympics and won. The woman that won, shit, she was a gold medalist. She was a heavy competitor. Okay. So it's only right that we celebrate the wins and the successes of the people who are winning, and we're not using SheCarrie as kind of like a competitor or comparative analysis to this woman in her win to put SheCarrie down. Okay. So I think that she gave it a good go. She ran hard. And I think that in a crowd of people who are not necessarily supportive of her, I think that she did fine. Um, to finish last though is it has me asking some questions, because she's been very successful here before her negative media coverage, and for her to finish last, it just kind of says a couple of things about where maybe her heart and her mind may be, and how that's affecting her performance in the league. So the one thing that I want to emphasize in Ricky Smiley's response is this: I agree with him to the point that we should definitely be finding meaningful ways to get this young girl some help. I think that she needs a viable life coach. She needs a better fitness coach, overall team coach, to help her make better decisions and also help her position herself to win after this atrocious um, loss, right? Not just this loss, but her loss as it relates to substances. Um, and that whole public media thing. So I feel like he was trying to do his due diligence. I don't think it was right for him to make fun of folks and say, well, how y'all tweeting with no fingers, and half of y'all ugly, and half of y'all wearing this and all of that stuff. I just don't buy into that stuff. I really hate that type of behavior because I feel like we've done that for so long. Like, it's Black people. Like, when do we remove ourselves from the eccentricities of things that don't even really make any sense? Like, they should, in the grand scheme of our lives, looking like successes, right? The type of car you drive, the amount of time that you finish in a race that is not, you're not being paid for, compensated. You're not SheCarrie. You're not in her league. So that's not what you do. Why are you worried about what these people do, if they can run or not? If they're fat or not, or whatever, right? I just feel like sometimes we got to remove ourselves from those types of patterns of behaviors when it comes to responding, because if we got to put somebody else down, that says that there is validity in their claims to our inadequacy. So if we are to acknowledge the fact that SheCarrie does need further motivation and that, we want to support her from a supportive context, it just looks like we're looking at the situation for what it is. It appears that she's off her game. She wasn't ready for this race as she's previously presented. And it has to do with maybe emotional leveling, right? Getting herself together so that her performance can indicate that she is emotionally well and stable and confident. So that's all I've got on that. I feel like the other components of his, response were definitely valid. I just can't get into the whole name calling and joking on folks and, and their issues when they're calling out an issue with SheCarrie that's unrelated, right? I feel like we can hold people accountable and still not have to have a perfect running record, right? We can hold this young lady accountable to the rules of her game without having to be in her field. That's just what it is. So if you guys want to check out this article, I will definitely post the link. It is found on ESPN. And I'm pretty sure you guys have been probably talking about this since yesterday, okay? Because that's what y'all do. But so that is all that I have. Let me be a hope and an inspiration and a source of empowerment for those of you who are struggling with recovering from COVID-19, the Delta variant, or any other illness. You can make a full recovery and you can probably bounce back and be better than you were before. All right. I'm feeling like 3,000,000% better. All right. So, with somebody who loves me. But yeah, so that's all I got. Go out there, find your light, your motivation, be an inspiration for other people who need it, whether they are intimately connected to you in your systems of functionality or not. Be a source of empowerment. Live your life and be glorious in it. And please don't impede on somebody else's happiness, folks, okay? So that's all I got for this subject. If you guys have other topics, please give me a moment to kind of get caught up because I am behind on material from when I was sick and all that good stuff. Catch our show tonight. Tonight's show will be aired at 9:30 instead of 11. It's going to be an interesting one. That's all I got. Also, put the kids to sleep before you catch the show. So that is all that I have. I hope that you guys have a marvelous Monday and that you are a positive impact on the folks around you and you find positive inspiration in the atmosphere around you as well. You remain spiritually congruent, think, live free, and be curious. Let life give you what it's meant to yield to you. Later days. Bye.
Who alive can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I'll rip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Phenomenon.